Well, Eduardo Rodriguez looked like a ballerina on the mound today, and most importantly, he looked like the Diamondbacks' fourth starting pitcher. We are going to talk about him and his place in the rotation. We're also going to talk about this rotation being a top 5 rotation in Major League Baseball. We're not surprised, but apparently other people are. All this in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. To you all, welcome in. Happy Friday. I don't even know. Are we still skiing? I don't know. We got to find something new for 2025. But welcome in to the PHNX Dbacks podcast. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX, and as always, I'm joined. Maybe not as always. Sometimes he abandons me, but I am joined by a very happy Wildcat, my producer on the ones and twos, large intimate Kevin Thomas. Kevin, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. We're in some nice dreary weather here in the valley, and I feel like it's refreshing almost to have some cloudy days, you know.
How's your basketball tournament going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
Big 12 tournament going great. Post game tonight, check it out. Me and Damon will be there after Arizona Texas Tech. I'm excited. Hopefully they get a dub.
Fun story. You posted about 30 minutes before I woke up today, which means that's when you were awake until, and then how early I woke up.
Not to pull the curtain back too far, Derek.
Oh, did you get up early?
No, that was a scheduled tweet. I actually went to bed at 3 a.m. last night.
Oh, yeah.
After making that video, and then scheduled it because I didn't want to post it at 3 like a degen.
That's
yeah.
That's you should just do it at 3. Just do it at 3. It doesn't matter. We want to see the content, but of course, happy Pie Day to you all out there. We're going to talk about why Kevin doesn't like pie, because I can't wait to get to that. But Eduardo Rodriguez, he made things look easy as pie today on the mound, and it is a very, very good thing for the Arizona Diamondbacks to have yet another one of their starting pitchers looking absolutely ready for the regular season. The Diamondbacks win today by a score of 2-1. Overall, a great day by the pitching staff. A little bit of a flat day offensively. I don't know, Kevin, if I want to get excited sometimes about good spring training starts, because I'm not that familiar with the Reds roster. When I look at the players that I saw today, there weren't a whole lot of familiar faces on their roster. So again, we will preface all of the enthusiasm and excitement about Erod's start today with that. But with that being said, he absolutely shoved. He looked great, and he did not want to come out of the game, which I understand. If I'm pitching like this, just leave me in until my arm falls off. But it's spring training. You don't want that to happen. Erod goes 3 2/3 innings pitched. He doesn't allow a hit, doesn't allow a run, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 6. That was a pretty good day at the office for Eduardo Rodriguez. His fastball, very encouraging today, hit 94.1 miles per hour, which is, again, he's kind of in a different form than we've had a chance to see him in an Arizona Diamondbacks uniform. That part's very exciting. There's also another unsaid part about Erod and what he brings to the clubhouse, at least, and that would be he very much appears to be a team leader as well. We've talked about Corbin Burns and how he looks very ready to kind of embrace that role and work with his teammates to bring the best out of them, to share any knowledge or any information he might have, considering how on top of his game he is. But Erod very much feels like that as well. And today he was feeling it. This is what he had to say about his outing against the Reds.
I feel like everything, it's one of those days that you don't want to come out of the mound. That's how I feel today. It's like everything that I was throwing was just going right what I wanted. So I just want to keep that mentality and go for my next game and for the season, But I feel like everything was working great today.
Is that what you were telling Torrey when he came out?
Yeah, need relievers to work, so I was like, okay, I'll take it, But like one of those days, like I don't want to get out of the mound, Nobody want to get out of the mound with when you feel like that. But we laugh and not come out of the game because he's the boss. So gotta take it.
Is that about as sharp as you've felt all spring? Got to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, got to be for sure. The last game I throw 2 innings. This one I went out there and threw 3 2/3, and it's the best I ever feel this spring training.
Do you have any other boxes you have left to check before you feel like you'd be ready? Or it's just a matter of getting stretched out a little bit more?
Yeah, just a matter to get stretched out because after the game today, I feel like all the pitches are right there. You know, for me, just working them, stretch a little bit more and get ready to throw them as many innings as I can during the season. You know, so but the rest, everything was just clear and perfect. So.
You said before that you kind of look like a ballerina when you're on a little bit. Did it feel like that today?
Yeah, I feel like I was dancing out there today for sure. You know, those, like I say, those days don't happen every often, so you just have to enjoy those days and try to repeat on the next start.
How did that last appearance for you go out in the backfields, and what was kind of that next level of progression for you this time?
For me, like I don't really care like if I throw in the backfield or throw in the big field. For me, just go out there and do my job. You know, even if it's the IBP or minor league game, they just you facing hitters and you just throw the pitches with the same purpose. You know, preparation for the season, and that's what it is for me. Either way, like minor league or out here. So.
We got Transonic in the comments says that his name is Kevin, so he feels like I'm talking directly to you. Kevin, I am talking to you. You specifically. No, I mean, this is everything is very encouraging to see there from Erod. I think he showed some humility there, saying that he doesn't have days like this often. And I guess as a starting pitcher, you really don't, where you're just out there throwing gas, just out there. You feel good. You are effective. He was efficient, like everything you could want out of him. And I think the big thing about this is that when you start looking at these competitions that we've discussed for the last few weeks in camp, especially the pitching competitions, it's as I said the other day, there's not a lot of spots actually available. So as much as it seems like a competition, it really is in some sense 3 or 4 players potentially competing for just one spot. And right now with the starting rotation, especially after today, that's very much what it feels like. It feels like the Diamondbacks have solidified their top 4 starting pitchers in their rotation, and Erod was already probably a part of that plan. In fact, he was pulling the curtain back. He absolutely was, I think, because yes, we got our one Barry Bloom, if you known troublemaker from the Las Vegas trip, kind of pulled it out of Torrey a little bit in regards to, you know, Erod essentially already being that 4th guy in Torrey's mind. This is what Torrey had to say after Barry kind of, you know, poked at him for a little while.
No, I don't. I haven't had any of those conversations. It's hard on me. I'm not going to lie. It's a very difficult decision. And when I sit down and talk to the group, I'm going to tell them that. It's been agonizing for me. I don't know what that answer is. There's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. I think.
Is Eduardo your 4th?
Eduardo, yeah, most likely will be in that space, correct, yes.
It sounded like he was going to rip the podium off there at the end. Yeah, no. I don't think it's much of a surprise. I don't think a lot of people thought Erod was really competing for a spot in the starting rotation. It's just a matter of there essentially being 4 guys that are all, you know, vying for 2 spots. And as much as you would think it's a no-brainer, especially based on what the Diamondbacks are paying Erod, that's not the case with Jordan Montgomery, right? Jordan Montgomery is a guy that is getting paid a whole lot of money in 2025, and there's still some doubt about what his role is going to be and how things are going to shake up. However, even that doesn't really feel like that there's doubt there. It feels like Jordan Montgomery would have to have a pretty bad spring or maybe come up injured in some way in order for him to not end up as the 5th man in the starting rotation, which then leaves some unfortunate conversations that Torrey has to have, some unfortunate decisions on what you do with a 1 Ryan Nelson and 1 Brandon Pfaadt. The Diamondbacks, meanwhile, are without another young arm for the 2025 season, and that does impact their depth, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But back to this game, of course, we've got to talk about some other notable players besides just Erod. Ketel Marte was 1 for 2. He had an RBI in this one. He got the first knock, bringing in a run. He also walked. He's currently hitting 286 this spring, which I guess isn't alarming or a problem, but he does have a 636 OPS. It's spring training, though. Do we care? Not really. I would say that I still don't really care. I care a little bit more about Corbin Carroll because he was on fire prior to missing some time with some lower back tightness. He was 1 for 3 today with a double. It was great to see him have a big extra base hit for this team. Not a lot of extra base hits in this one. In fact, that was just one of 2 extra base hits the Diamondbacks had today. The other one being our precious Pavin's solo dinger that ended up being the game winner for this team. The game was tied prior to that, but Pavin Smith does hit his second home run of the spring. And honestly, as things kind of come here closer to opening day, I'm pretty excited to see Pavin Smith get an opportunity. I know how our PHNX Diamondbacks crazy people feel about him. I know you guys love him, and I know that he's been a guy that's been in the organization for a very long time. So it would be great for Pavin to finally have an opportunity to play. And then upon being given that opportunity, we could really see him hopefully find some success this season and kind of make this his big breakout season. We've been looking for that for a long time. But AJ Puck allowed the only run of the game for D-backs pitching. I don't know how much I want to overreact to that. Of course, it's got to be Puck. It was a first pitch home run to Sammy Stafura right down the middle of the plate. It was a fastball as middle as you could be. So a mistake pitch there, but again, not too much to worry about. And again, this Diamondbacks pitching staff today only allowed 3 hits in this one. It is against, I don't want to say like the B team for the Reds, but not necessarily their starting lineup out there. Torey was asked about the Diamondback starting lineup, and he did say that as we move from this point forward, that you will see the actual regular guys in there more often. So if you have held out up to this point to watch a spring training game, you might have done the right thing because you're going to see some starters play some more and get that time. Ildemaro Vargas, he got in the game. He's still been getting a lot of at-bats for this team. Garrett Hampson also got in the game. There was some discussion today about, of course, that backup role, some of those backup infielder roles. Torey talked a bit about Hampson's versatility, that Hampson has the ability to play some outfield as well as shortstop. But it really sounded like, they're trying to solidify, a backup situation. Jordan Lawler might have a good chance at being that backup shortstop and getting some time on this team in 2025. So that's, again, another exciting thing for a young player that we have been excited to watch for a while now. But just overall a good day for the Diamondbacks. A dreary day out there at Salt River Fields. Not exactly the kind of day I'm sure out of towners flew to Arizona to see, but regardless, a fun day. And again, the youngsters are always fun to watch. Speaking of which, the spring breakout game is going on, I believe, right now as we speak. So I guess not a great time to be doing a baseball show right when another baseball game is happening, but I got to find time somewhere, people. Okay, I can't do them at 10 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock in the morning yet. We'll get to those during the regular season. We'll get to plenty of those, but a ton of talent on display for the Diamondbacks. Those spring breakout games, again, if you're not familiar with them, are like top minor league stars in the organizations being part of the roster and playing against each other. So the Diamondbacks are playing tonight. Demetrio Crisantes, I'm sure I'm messing that up in some way, but he is the Diamondbacks' number 2 overall prospect. He's playing in tonight's game. You also have Tommy Troy being featured, Hansel Luis, and more, a few other guys. So again, great opportunity to see the youngsters play. However, that is also kind of what the point of spring training can be is at times as well, right? We get a chance to see plenty of the young guys play and get a chance to, again, become familiar with them. That's what this is all about. Sometimes that's the reason, again, why baseball, I think, can tend to feel not as exciting as other sports, typically just because it takes so long for these young players to eventually have an impact on the game, right? To get to a major league roster, and not only get to a major league roster, but be good enough where, they're a star. And it feels like very few guys kind of leak through and have an early success in major leagues. So go out, support the young guys and get to know them. This is the team of the future. Remember, the Diamondbacks are going to be a team that for a very long time are going to need to build from the minor leagues, and it's the only way that they can keep up with this crazy NL West division that they're in. Another way that they can keep up with this crazy NL West division is through their starting pitching. And apparently, according to a recent article from Anthony Castrovins that dropped on MLB.com today, Diamondbacks have a top 5 starting pitching staff. Is it too low? Is it too high? I don't know. We'll get your guys' thoughts on it on the other side of this break. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, of course, big shout out, as always, to our friends at Bet365. They help make betting on live sports more fun. And of course, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available across 78 different sports. And they also offer new customers some nice bonus bets deals. They do offer all customers, whether you're a new customer or a current existing customer, early payout offers on NHL, NBA, and more. Of course, you can get down on an NBA early payout offer where you're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets as well as parlay selections. And don't miss out on Slam Dunk Saturdays tomorrow. It's another Bet365 Slam Dunk Saturday. Place a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more, and you will get up to $25 in bonus bets. So go check them out right now at Bet365. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Just sign up using that code of PHNX365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Of course, wherever you are in the Valley, make sure to stop by Circle K. It is America's thirst stop, and like I said, it can be America's thirst trap, too. You go there to get yourself a drink, and then you walk out with $30 worth of snacky cakes and chips and all sorts of wonderful things that Circle K has. And you're going to do it for less. If you are an Inner Circle member, which is a free membership program you can get in on now, join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply for our participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. You'll get 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. You'll save 3 cents every day after that. And you'll save so much more on all sorts of things, including getting your first 5 Polar Pops for free. Well, we might have a good baseball team, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, a big part of having a good baseball team is having very good starting pitching. The Diamondbacks, according to an MLB article from Anthony Castrovins on the top starting rotations in MLB, were on his list at number 5. Now, that's a big deal for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the Diamondbacks probably wouldn't be there without the addition of Corbin Burnes. And we know that Corbin Burnes was a gift from the heavens that fell in our lap, thanks to how great it is to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. But the Diamondbacks haven't finished in the top 15 in team ERA since 2019. So that's a 6-year gap. And in that time frame, they made it to the World Series. They also came 1 game short last year, as you may or may not remember, of making or missing the playoffs. But the fact of the matter is especially when you look at Eduardo Rodriguez's start today and how good he could be as a part of the starting rotation, which we really, I know we've seen him there, right? But have we really seen, Erod at his best? Have we seen him feeling his best after coming off of those series of injuries that he went through last year? I don't know. So there's a good chance that even though we did see some good performances out of him, the best is yet to come from Erod. Then you pair that together with these guys. Would you mind, Kevin, throwing up the big 3 for the Arizona Diamondbacks? This is what Corbin Burnes, Zach Gallen, and Merrill Kelly have done so far this spring. 22 innings pitched, 20 hits allowed. They have a 2.04 ERA, 5 earned runs, 1 home run. They have 27 strikeouts, a 1.27 whip, and are already rolling along nicely, right? If you factored in Eduardo Rodriguez 2 starts in there as well, there's a good chance those numbers are going to look even better. So when you talk about the Diamondbacks being a top 5 rotation in Major League Baseball, it's a very accurate statement. And I think that is with the mystery still as to what is going to happen with their 5th spot. Should they be higher than that? perhaps you could perhaps make a case for that. The teams that are above the Diamondbacks, obviously at number 1 are the Dodgers. And I don't think that there's any refuting that the Dodgers have something special going on with pitching over there, especially if you've paid any attention to Roki Sasaki and what he has been doing this spring. He looks like he is absolutely worth all of the hype and is going to be a problem for us. But after that, it goes Phillies at number 2, Braves at number 3, and Mariners at number 4. Now, the Mariners have a very good starting pitching rotation, probably a bit underrated, overall, because they are very good. But outside of the Braves' top 3, I don't know how fearful I am of those starters necessarily. You got Chris Sale, Spencer Strider, Reynaldo Lopez. Very good, though. Very good. I'm not going to take anything away from those guys. But, you got Spencer Schwellenbach and Ian Anderson after that. Then when you take a look at the Phillies have some really good guys at the top: Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, and then Ranger Suarez and Jesus Luzardo. So Phillies probably adequately rated there at number 2. I would maybe make some sort of argument that the Diamondbacks might be as high as 4th on this list. However, outside of that, I'm not going to be too, it's not going to be too crazy. I don't think it's too underrated or overrated in any way. It's just very exciting to see that the Diamondbacks are in that spot. That's an incredibly good spot for them to be. And it is obviously the addition of Corbin Burnes. However, I do think, like I said earlier about Erod, I think Erod is going to be one of those additions to this team that he's hopefully has a great year, and people kind of slept on him, right? People, missed his time in Detroit, might have missed his time in Boston, might not know how good of a pitcher he could be. And he could be entering, again, one of his best seasons yet, right? He's had a chance to put a lot of injury and other things behind him at this point, and he's really looking to come back and be impressive. And again, when you look at who he's surrounded with, there's not a lot of pressure, I don't think, on Erod to perform and be, a number 2 guy in the starting rotation, like maybe at one time he was expected to be. However, again, there's also the idea that he has 2 young pitchers who are going to be not in the starting rotation, that most likely are going to be looking to continue to impress and looking for an opportunity to come back. So I don't think his spot is in jeopardy, nor do I think that, maybe he was ever not going to be considered for part of the starting rotation while this camp went on or this competition went on during spring. I just think that he is also a guy that's going to bring a lot to this big 3 that we just showed you already. So it's just an exciting time right now. And then the big question mark, obviously, is who's going to be the 5th starter. And, the 3 guys right now that are essentially competing for that spot, 2 of them have the ability to be moved within the organization. 1 requires his permission, and you're probably not going to get that. But Jordan Montgomery, Torrey said that Montgomery felt great after his start on the backfield, and he will start in a Cactus League game his next time out. Kevin, what do you think, man? What are we? I know we kind of talked a little bit about the fact that they might be hiding him. I didn't think they really were, but again, they just wanted to give him a chance to get back on track before they put him back out there in another Cactus League start. Do you think it was just jitters? Do you think it was, just the fact that he was trying too hard to look good? Everything we've been told about his performance on the backfield has been solid, and now here he'll make his next start in the Cactus League game.
Yeah, no, look, I don't want to really overthink it too much when it comes to Monty. Just based on the recent performance he did have and Torrey Lovello's response to it, it kind of sounded more like Torrey's kind of focused on making sure he's getting stretched out, getting comfortable, that he understands his role, and he's just trying to be the best Monty he can be, right? So I'm not trying to overthink it too much. I'd like to think that, when things start up, he'll get back into rhythm.
Caden Crippen brought up Greg Kessinger a little bit. Bleh. I'm having a fat tongue day. He brought up Greg Kessinger a little while ago. He said, I thought Greg Kessinger made a pretty good case as a backup infield infielder, maybe better than Hampson. Am I wrong to think that? I don't think so. I think once again, and we're going to get to some roster moves the Diamondbacks made today here in a little bit, but I do think that in regards to Hampson, I think it was his versatility that allowed him to still be here, and to maybe be a little bit more alluring to Torrey to have on the roster. They have to figure out a way to make roster space, though. Right now, I believe with the roster cuts that they made, the numbers down to 40, and of course they have a couple of guys that they got to figure out if they're going to keep around, if they're going to make that 40-man roster, and if they're going to be part of this team going forward in 2025. But we do have more on that. Just in regards to Jordan Montgomery, though, I want to say this. Like, I think every fan should be hoping that it works out with Jordan Montgomery, right? I think that we've talked about a lot of options. We are ready, especially after one start, to dismiss him to the bullpen or just, flat out get rid of him. But I don't think that's the case with Monty. I think he's going to end up being the fifth man. That's what my gut tells me in the starting rotation. And I think for some reason, I believe that he's going to get things back on track. I really feel like being a part of this rotation and not having the focus solely on him like it was at one point during last year is a big part of it. And I think, again, he's had a chance to have a normal offseason, normal spring training. We'll see how he pitches. Like Torrey said, his next outing will be in a Cactus League game. If he comes out and has an outing that was as bad as his first one, then I think some red flags might be going up, and I think that there might be at least something to consider about, another option other than him being the fifth starter. But we'll get there when that start happens. So can't wait to overthink that when it happens, and I cannot wait to see what ends up happening overall with this starting rotation. El Gallo says it's starter or nothing for Monty. Yeah, well, we also have seen that this team doesn't really shy away from times at making those difficult decisions, right? So if that's the case, I don't see Mike Hazen and the front office putting Montgomery in there to be a liability every 5 days and not give this team a chance to win. Even if it means eating the entire contract for Jordan Montgomery, Mike Hazen will do what's right for this team, and he will make sure that the right people are out there. And that's not me just, I mean, it is me speculating, but it's based on past decisions we've seen this front office make. And there's been tougher decisions than this particularly, though. I will remind you, Jordan Montgomery is still owed a tremendous amount of money. What I would give to see that much money in my lifetime, let alone over the course of one bad year. Whole other thing, though. Don't get me started on how broke I am right now. Well, I will say this, though. We will definitely have some more on the Diamondbacks losing a little bit of their depth. Some breaking news today about Blake Walston. Very unfortunate, and we're going to have that on the other side of this break. Of course, you guys are watching the PHNX Diamondback show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, I am hungry, and as much as I like being here with you guys, I would love to be at Spinato's right now. Spinato's Pizzeria is the place for Suns fans to be. They're hosting official watch parties over there that include the Gorilla, my personal friend. They also, we got a little see, it's still empty, Kevin. It's still empty. The box is still empty. That doesn't help. I'm still hungry. But it's also because I know how delicious Spinato's is. We had it here in the office just the other day, and it never misses. It never misses. But you should not miss the wonderful fun that they're going to have over at Spinato's Pizzeria. If you have a decent jump shot, there's a good chance you can win yourself some prizes with their horse contest, aka pizza contest. You can win free pizza for a year and tickets to the Suns game on April 9th. And then so much more, just camaraderie, fun. Go watch the Suns team be terrible with people you can commiserate with about this team. Get all the info on the watch parties and pizza basketball contest at spinatospizzeria.com. Spinato's, the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns. Well, come check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Of course, we already know it's a fun place to go for a night out on the town, but it might be an even more fun place to go watch March Madness. You come out, watch the games, and also check out the collection during March Madness at Gila River. Sneakers, stories, style. That's what Mike Bibby's bringing you. They've reimagined the Upper Deck kitchen and bar into a sneaker lover's dream. March 20th through the 30th, you can explore the evolution of one of basketball's most legendary partnerships through Mike Bibby's extensive collection featuring rare Jordans and exclusive collaborations that highlight the intersection of course, sports and culture. Everybody loves shoes. Everybody loves shoes. So don't miss out. You can go check them out at playhila.com/promotion/the collection. And from first step to final dunk, discovery, the history and artistry behind each pair. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Come on out, have some fun, check out the amazing shoe wear, and enjoy March Madness with Gila River. Well, we do have some breaking updates. Of course, we thank All Pro Shade Concepts for sponsoring the show and for sponsoring our breaking updates. The breaking news that we have in regards to the Arizona Diamondbacks is that pitcher Blake Walston will miss the 2025 season. He will undergo Tommy John surgery. And man, I'll just tell you, I know that in baseball, we get way too used to hearing about Tommy John surgery. It's become way too like it's just part of the game, which it really is. Also, Brent Strom was the second person to have Tommy John surgery. So if he would have been the first, then we would call it BS surgery. And I still love that story. But Walston was number 30 prospect on the Dbacks top 30 prospects list. He would have been a starting pitcher in Reno and had been an option for Lovello for depth in the starting rotation this season. So it's really unfortunate that he misses time. Here's Torey Lovello talking about Blake Walston and undergoing that procedure.
Blake Walston is going to have Tommy John surgery. So it's terrible news for him, terrible news for all of us. The investment that he's made, that continuing to work and grow and progress in the system is just going to be put on hold for 14 months, give or take a month. But it's part of the game. It happens, and maybe there's a sense of relief that he knows what's going on. You guys can follow up with him. He knows what's going on, and he's going to step out for a little while and come back stronger than ever. Kendall Graveman will begin to he'll throw an aggressive bullpen. That'll be the next thing for him. I mentioned that there was some back tightness, a little discomfort that following day after his outing, rather than get back on the mound, they talked about a very, very aggressive side on the mound with no hitters.
When will that be?
I don't know that exact answer. And let's see, what else do I have? That's about it for right now.
Have some roster moves today. Well, first of all, about Blake. When did that happen? Did it happen his last outing in Vegas? Or? That
did, correct. So he complained about some elbow tenderness post-outing. We decided to get some imaging, and then there's just a period of time before you get the results, and then there's second opinions and so on and so forth. But I think it was determined over the past 24 hours that this was going to be his decision.
It's just awful. And of course, for Walston, who's kind of been part of the organization here for a minute, that's another setback preventing him, from experiencing potentially an opportunity, at pitching on a major league roster this year. I guess it does provide an opportunity for other young pitchers in the organization potentially, because the Reno Aces starting roster was honestly kind of stacked. And like almost every single guy on the roster has major league pitching experience. It was going to be, it still is going to be a great asset for Torey Lovello, for Mike Hazen and this team to have this kind of depth and to be able to go down to the minors and if needed, right? We are already seeing it once again across Major League Baseball, where they are absolutely dropping like flies at times. And I mean, there's a couple of teams right now that would desperately love to have the depth that the Diamondbacks have. But remember, I mean, it's flimsy, right? And again, losing someone like Walston also does not help, with that depth. The Diamondbacks also, he brought up Kendall Graveman, who they signed to a $1.35 million contract this year. He's been experiencing some lower back tightness, and that's kind of prevented him from pitching, and he continues to be out. So it's just another frustrating kind of series of setbacks for Graveman, and that was after he had thrown a live BP. The problem is that once again, we don't have a lot of time here before opening day. When you start to look at this starting pitching or the bullpen, it really does feel like at the most there's 2 spots open. Should the Diamondbacks perhaps decide that they don't want either of the starting pitchers that don't end up, especially now with the loss of Blake Walston, if they don't want either of the guys that don't end up in the starting rotation to be converted to relievers, you might end up with Ryan Nelson and Brandon Pfaadt potentially both pitching in Reno to start the season. And then that would at the most leave 2 spots in the bullpen right now, barring any kind of crazy decision or changes being made. So it's really about time. It's really about the 2 weeks left between now and opening day. It's less than that now. Now we're talking about 13 days between now and opening day. So, you know, the back tightness it does put, you know, Graveman's availability for opening day in jeopardy. And it also feels a little bit like, you know, again, that the spot isn't guaranteed in that bullpen for anybody particular. But again, couple of spots left and don't know who's going to end up with them. There were some roster moves made today in regards to that. The aforementioned Gray Kessinger, he was an infielder that was kind of vying for that backup role. He was optioned to AAA Reno, along with Tommy Henry, another guy we've seen start for this team in the past and make starts in spring training. And outfielder Jorge Barosa, who has had a pretty good spring. He's actually looked very good so far this spring. Those 3 guys are optioned to AAA Reno. These guys were all reassigned to minor league camp. Jeff Brigham, right-handed pitcher. Jose Castillo, left-handed pitcher. Juan Murillo, who I brought up during the series in Las Vegas against the Athletics, looked really good. Was hitting triple digits, and I think his fastball was averaging over 99 miles per hour. So he's a guy that just excited about potentially. Connor Kaiser, infielder, and then Christian Pache, all reassigned to minor league camp. And I think this is it. This is where not only does the giant block of clay get refined a little bit more into a statue by Torey Lovullo and his coaching staff, but now is when some of those tough decisions that, to be honest, to be fair, nobody really wants to make. You know what I mean? Like, Torey does not want to make these decisions, but it's part of being a manager. And, you know, I think that it's probably different for him. I mean, this was a question I asked him before, but this is probably the most depth Torey Lovullo has ever. It might be the most depth he's ever had to work with as a manager of the Diamondbacks. So in that, you might get a little bit more used to as a manager, more about giving guys opportunity to help the big league club, more than telling guys that absolutely deserve an opportunity that they don't get one because there's no spot for them. And unfortunately, due to their age or due to the options they have available, it makes them kind of makes them an easy candidate to be sent down to AAA Reno. So Nick Ankenman says, I think Pfaadt's ceiling is higher than Monty's, though. And yeah, I think that's it too. But you got to remember that, one, they're not paying Brandon Pfaadt $25 million this year. And 2, that Brandon Pfaadt he has options left and the Diamondbacks can keep him in the organization. And again, keep him for depth. He would most likely be the first guy called up should an injury occur or should something happen, you know, to any of the starting pitchers. So there's that. And, you know, I kind of hate, once again, the way that baseball does this, right? It makes you feel, Kevin, like going to the bench is a bad thing, but because you're not going to the bench, you're going to a different team in a different city to play for a sub league of minor league guys, right? Like, it's weird, but it's a requirement in baseball because if you really want that guy to be ready when you need him, he has to pitch every 5 days.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to kind of send a toy from like the big brand toy store and just send him off to the island of misfit toys.
Yes,
and then
there's nothing wrong with him. He's not missing an arm.
2 months later, you send a ship over and be like, "Hey,
come on back,
Slinky. We need you back at the Toys R Us." You know what I mean?
How is Slinky not supposed to be, you know, resentful of that?
Exactly.
He's like, my springs aren't broken. My tail works fine.
You left me with the Jack in the Box toy?
I still have my leash and everything. I haven't lost a single part, right? Yeah, so like you're right. That's kind of what it feels like. And I think maybe the players understand it a bit more than we do as fans. It's hard for us to get over. It's just the reality of the situation. And like I said, I think that the expectation here is that Fodder Nelson will be one of the arms in the bullpen. I don't know if that's the case. Like, it very much feels like if it is the case that it's more likely going to be Ryan Nelson. However, the Diamondbacks might think that, converting either of these guys to relievers isn't the best idea, or maybe they just think they have enough relief arms that they don't need to kind of, cut their depth at starting pitching down to one guy that pitched regularly last year and then, a bunch of minor leaguers still. If you think about it, even though it doesn't do much to benefit the major league roster at this time, keeping Ryan Nelson stretched out with the way he pitched last year makes a lot of sense. Also, as Elise, known baseball GM, will tell you if she was in here in the live chat tonight, she would say that, again, Ryan Nelson's fastball is very much with his accuracy and his ability to control it, which those two things are the same thing. And I just realized that, though it's going to play out of the bullpen. And I think he has a good chance to be a big weapon for Torey Lovullo should they go that route and put him in the pen. But a lot remains to be seen about this team with a very short amount of time between now and opening day. So we will, of course, monitor that situation. And of course, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about how no matter what USA Today thinks, the Diamondbacks' whole stadium situation could be a lot worse. And look at our cousin team, the Tampa Bay Rays, according to a social media post that we're going to take a look at here. They're not even trying anymore. They're not even trying anymore, folks. Oh, man. Well, I'm still trying. I'm still here. And I will be back on the other side of this break. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Don't you go anywhere. Of course, big shout out to All Pro Shades Concepts. They always have us covered from this terrible weather, whether it's rain or shine out there. All Pro Shades Concepts will help make your outdoor living spaces even better with a custom fit awning. They have roll down patio shades to block the sun and keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler. They can also replace and fix most old or outdated patio shades and motorized awnings, and we know what the sun does to those during the summer. It absolutely demolishes them. But not All Pro Shades Company. This is a company that started making window shades by hand for friends and family in Phoenix. Now they're one of the largest installers of patio roll down shades and motorized awnings in the Valley. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and you can call them right now. They'll give you an estimate. Call them at 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476, or visit allproshadesconcept.com now to schedule your free estimate. Also, speaking of families here in the Valley, Sanderson Ford has been servicing the Valley for a very long time, and right now it's truck month over at Arizona's largest Ford dealership. Sanderson Ford has hundreds of trucks on the lot, and all of them are marked down with big discounts for truck month. Choose from the entire line of Mavericks, Rangers, F-150s, and Super Duties. If you want more off-road capabilities, check out those full-size Broncos. I love those. And the Bronco Sports, those are also marked down for truck month as well. So get down on it. You can save all sorts of money. And of course, 2024 models, finance offers for 36 months OAC through Ford Credit. Discounts include Ford rebate, Sanderson discounts, plus trade assistance, conquest cash that you must qualify for. Offer expires March 31st. And again, that sun, got to protect yourself from it. Do so with a great pair of sunglasses. Shady Rays is the place to get your sunglasses. It's impossible to survive in Arizona without a quality pair of shades, and they will get you by this summer with a great pair of shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Talk about it a lot. I am a client of their lost and broken replacement plan, considering I lost my sunglasses. You can get yourself a brand new pair, even if you lose or break your sunglasses on day one. Shady Rays has your back, no questions asked. And if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them worry-free within 30 days. Shopping online can be hard. You never know. There's no risk at all when you shop, though, with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back, again, with personal and fast support. PHNX viewers and listeners, right now go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code PHNX. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars. So use that code of PHNX today and save yourself 35% off. over at shadyrays.com.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, Kev.
We were talking earlier about some of the young snakes, young Diamondbacks doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what a baby snake is called?
What is a baby snake called?
It's called a snakelet.
I've heard that before. That's adorable, right?
So I just wanted to ask you who's your favorite snakelet on
My
this,
favorite snakelet
on the spring training squad? Like one of the young guys that might not make the roster or whatnot, but he's just your guy, you know.
Ryan
Waldschmidt. He's your baby snakelet.
Ryan Waldschmidt for sure, the Diamondbacks' first overall draft pick. He just looks like a big leaguer. Sounds like it, talks like it, has a great baseball name. Waldschmidt? Are you kidding me? Waldy on the wall? I don't know. That sounds awesome. But yeah, I think he's probably up there. I think I've talked about Jorge Barosa. I mean, it kind of gets hard because some of these guys have been in the organization for a very long time. So you kind of like, you feel differently about them, right?
They're a little less snakelet-y.
Yeah, but you also feel like, I don't know, it's like baseball is one of those things that after a while, I feel like you deserve a shot if you've been able to stick around. You're in AAA, you've been through the organization, you've been through you deserve a shot. Your numbers might not warrant it. You might not honestly deserve the opportunity, but you never know what a guy's going to do until he gets to the show, right? We always say it's the opposite. We always say like, his numbers are great, but then you get him up to the major leagues and watch what happens. Like, yeah, I know. And there's a really good chance someone with bad numbers is going to be even worse in Major League Baseball. But I don't know. I think sometimes there's certain guys that you just want to see them get a chance and see what they can do. And, who knows? Maybe they fall flat on their face. I think that Barosa is one of those guys I think that definitely deserves an opportunity, and he seems to just do a great job whenever I see him playing baseball. So a lot of excitement with the future of this Diamondbacks team. And like I said earlier, there kind of has to be, right? Like the Dbacks are always going to need to be a team that they're going to need to identify those times where they trade away a guy for prospects, even if it's an unpopular decision, simply to improve the future of this team. And as a team that did spend some money this offseason, they've proven that they're not, that they don't shy away from that they're not opposed to spending money, but it needs to be money spent at the right time. And I think every organization could use that lesson, right? Like you don't just go out and add a Chris Bryant to the Rockies just to add him, right? You don't go out and add some of these high-priced big names simply to add him to a team that's mediocre at best, even with the addition of that player. So, again, I appreciate the fact that the Diamondbacks are doing things the right way. And, again, you had a young team there that did something special in 2023. Next thing you know, Corbin Burnes falls in your lap, and now you have one of the top pitching rotations in baseball. Does that last? Probably not, right? If you lose a Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen this offseason, things are different. But it gives an opportunity to Ryan Nelson and Brandon Pfaadt to pop right back in there. Eduardo Rodriguez is around for longer this year. Corbin Burnes is going to be around. So the Diamondbacks have staggered things in a way where the starting rotation specifically could be good this year, could be great this year, and even very good beyond this year. And we'll see how obviously all that plays out, right? One situation though in baseball that I'm not a big fan of is everything going on with the Athletics. We got to see in Las Vegas and be at a very beautiful ballpark in their AAA park for the Las Vegas Aviators. And this situation for the Tampa Bay Rays, which is getting even worse. Like, it's wild to me that we are worried about Chase Field merely having some minor, flaws, right? When what is going on in Tampa is absolutely ridiculous. And I'll preface this by saying it's more ridiculous that this update came via social media. But yeah, Kev, do we have this post from the Tampa Bay Rays on social media?
After careful deliberation, we have concluded we cannot move forward with the new ballpark and development project at this moment. A series of events beginning in October that no one could have anticipated led to this difficult decision.
Wow.
So we're blaming weather now.
Well, okay. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, like even prior to the weather, they were talking about building a new ballpark for the Tampa Bay Rays there in the St. Petersburg area. That's where it is,
St.
right?
Pete.
It's not actually in Tampa. I don't know. Like the Cardinals. But anyway, I will say this. when it comes to this whole situation with the Tampa Bay Rays and their stadium, I think that, it's kind of oddly fitting considering the stadium was built, the core, the soul of this stadium, the purpose of its existence was to steal a team away from another Major League Baseball franchise. I won't go too deep in the history, but you can look it up. And if you look at the Tropicana and its existence, like it wasn't built like Chase Field was built or Bank One Ballpark back in the day, specifically for the Diamondbacks because we were awarded a franchise. No, my friends. This was a stadium that was built, I think, considerably before the Tampa Bay Rays were awarded to that section of the country, just to steal, just to snatch away some other teams, pro baseball team, or some other city's pro baseball team, I should say. Things were very greedy around a certain period of time, and baseball teams were using the fact that the teams were moving from one city to another as kind of like a negotiation tactic to get public funding for building new stadiums and a lot of this stuff. That's where this negative perception comes from for a lot of the stuff that's going on now, right? I don't want to fund a billionaire's ballpark, nor should you have to. However, there are certain things that every city kind of has to do at times in order to have a professional sports team. Part of it is supporting it, right? Coming out, buying tickets, showing up to games. But another part is that the funding, especially in this situation when the building, for like the Diamondbacks is partially owned by the county, has to come from some sort of taxes or some place in order for those funds to be, used on the stadium. Like there is a price to pay for having a sports team. And I understand when people that don't watch sports or root for that team want to be upset about their tax dollars going towards paying for it. Completely understand, right? But this is this time period when, the Tropicana was built and baseball teams were kind of doing this. That's where a lot of this like developed, or I don't know. Do you want to say flourished? I want to say festered, whatever you want to say, whatever word you want to use.
Germinated?
Germinated. Yeah, germinated's pretty good. Like it's just where everybody got sick of it. It was like it was happening all the time. And then the answer was, well, if you don't give us money for this, we're going to move our team to Tampa. And it was like, look, Tampa already built a ballpark. Well, that godforsaken ballpark has always been a problem and will continue to be a problem. It's an eyesore. It's not a good place to watch baseball. People that root for the team don't like going there. And even before all of this, it was probably going away, right? But now what's the answer? Well, the answer is, again, it feels like a lot of infighting. There's problems with the county. There's the team itself is kind of suggesting that there could be other places to play. We know Portland and Nashville are both chomping at the bit for a baseball team, as well as other cities, right? They're not the only two teams. You also have the move them back to Montreal thing, which is still odd. They're not the Montreal Expos. The Nationals, the Washington Nationals are the Montreal Expos. And I try to tell people all that all the time, but they don't listen to me, Kevin. They don't listen to me. So they're always like, move them back. It's like, they're Montreal Expos. But yeah, at one time they were going to split time between Tampa and Montreal. And maybe that's not such a bad idea anymore after all of this. Apparently at some point in the chat, I called Tim Nick.
You definitely
Anchorman.
did.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you definitely did.
All right.
You read this comment and you said our guy Nick Ankerman has a comment.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's an off day for me, Tim. But yeah, your new name is Nick. Nicholas. I'm going to call you Nicholas Ankerman now. And Nicholas wants to know which drop was better, Vegas or Tampa Bay? Well, that's a good question. I've won money at the Trop in Vegas, so there's that. I also want to comment on that. There are still people that for some reason, I think I might have even been one of those people prior to going to Las Vegas, that think that there's still some sort of like the Athletics moving to Las Vegas is still up in the air. Let me assure you, it is very much not up in the air. They're absolutely moving to Las Vegas. They're going to be there in 2028. There are signs and stuff They completely leveled where the Tropicana was, like level. It's the flattest, most beautiful parking lot you've ever seen in your life. And yeah, I mean, they definitely are ready for a baseball stadium to be built there. Apparently, what they're not ready for is for there to be a parking garage connected to it. All of their little designs didn't involve including a parking garage because apparently, according to people in Las Vegas, the organization expects people to get there via public transportation. Have you ever heard of anything so insane in your life, Kevin, that employees and people attending games and I don't know, the players themselves wouldn't want to maybe park their car somewhere at the stadium when they go to work?
Look, man, this is why we need walkable cities. We need walkable cities. We don't need long trains.
Why do I have to walk?
I like walkable cities. I allow my walkable cities.
Oh God.
I will say the to compare it to an NFL thing, the Bengals, their practice facility, you have to walk across the street. Like they have to stop traffic for the Bengals players to
stop it. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like a thing. And then like there's like a big hill that like some players like walk up and it's like so I think a player like strained a hamstring going up at this. It's a mess. But yeah, I'm not against the walking thing. It's just you got to make it make sense. It has to be like a nice leisurely walk. You know what I mean?
I think for me, it illustrates that Las Vegas thinks that when they move a sports team there, that it's just going to be a bunch of like tourists, like people visiting, coming in and going to these games, and not necessarily the people that live in the city that the team is going to the games. I don't know how attendance is at these things, and we are definitely one of those cities that has to worry about always being 50% filled with opposing fans. But before we get out of here, today's National Pie Day. It's March 14th. I always like it because it's now we're on the official 10-day run to my birthday on the 24th, which means now is when I completely shut off and I don't do anything for the next 10 days. Basically,
Derek,
I'm absolutely lazy as can be. What? I
just realized this is the halfway point, the pivot point between my birthday and yours. My birthday was 10 days ago.
That's right.
Your birthday is 10 days from now.
Right. Wow. This is where business picks up, if you will.
Big day.
But it's also Pie Day. And you told me before we started the show that you don't like pie.
Yeah, no, today's actually National St. Louis Day for me because the area code for St. Louis is 314. So everyone in St. Louis is currently celebrating 314 Day.
No, well,
I'm not a big pie guy.
You're getting a wrestling PLE, so that's cool.
Huge backlash, huge.
Yeah,
John Cena and Orton, huge. But no, I'm not a pie guy, Derek.
Oh my God.
The crust, like the crust on these pies, I'm not a big crust guy.
You're not a big crust guy.
I kind of hate the crust.
Wow.
Like if I get apple pie, I will.
Who is not a big crust guy?
If I get apple pie, I will pick around the crust.
That's insane.
Yeah, I will. I don't like pumpkin pie, like period. Like
what
I
about
won't eat
it. What about like chicken pot pie, sweet potato pie?
Never had sweet potato pie. I love chicken pot pie. Never thought of chicken pot pie as a pie, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think chicken pot pie is my favorite pie. But I'm not a pie guy. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm sorry.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Lemon meringue pies might be the most delightful thing ever created. I'm a big mix guy, so I love like sweet and sour, and I think that's like pies can kind of deliver that in the best possible way. Where you can get yourself like a key lime pie with a bunch of like meringue or like whipped cream on top, and I'm not sure
I like meringue. Like, I'm just not sure. I don't think I'm meant to enjoy pies.
I don't understand you. You don't like meringue. You don't like crust. Do you not like fun?
I love fun. I love fun. I just don't love pie.
Derek's face is expressing every emotion I'm having right now. Yes, Michael. Yes, my heart is broken. Tim is right, or Nick. He says rhubarb is incredible. Rhubarb is outstanding. We used to have a lady at my dad's restaurant that made a rhubarb cheesecake. It would blow your mind. It was incredible. She didn't make enough of them. Man, I love pie. I'm going to go eat some pie. Free ad, Rock Springs, best pie place in this entire state. And it's not too far from me since I live in South Anthem, as my friends call it. But
I love pizza.
Love what? Do you love pizza? Pizza is a pie. Yeah. You know what? Zach might be right. Pizza might be the best pie. And that's something we can agree on, right, Kevin?
Yeah. Also, real quick fun fact about me. I didn't know rhubarb was a real thing that existed in the world until I was like I read a book in like elementary school where rhubarb pie was a big part of the plot, and I thought they had just like made up a fruit.
Yeah,
like I thought they were like, oh, this is the rhubarb pie.
Yeah,
I was like,
thought that was just something the Joker said.
Yeah, I saw it in a store once, and I was like, oh, this is a real thing. They took the pie from the book and made it into a real thing.
It's amazing, but that's all we got for you guys today. We'll be back on Monday with another show, Mailbag Monday show. Make sure to join us then. Till then, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K. Kev is at Kevo Posts. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you on Monday. And until then, have a wonderful weekend. Behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when Eduardo Rodriguez is out there dancing like a ballerina on the mound.
We all silly like the mayor.